Well, I want to tell you about tools I've been using for maybe 2 months, and they have already saved me plenty of time. Because usually the process of releasing your app is looking like this. First, you have to test your app with the unit test, maybe UI test, because it's really important to know that your app behaves it's intended to behave. So you test your app, then you make screenshots. This is the most time-consuming process because, maybe, for example, for iOS you have 5 screenshots for app and maybe 5 or 6 devices, maybe 5 or 6 languages, and you end up with I don't know, 100 or maybe more screenshots. It's really time consuming. You probably don't want to do this by hand. Next, you're gonna build your app because that's the usual way to do. Nothing interesting about it. And then you might meet a problem with certificates because, well, Apple has developed a really weird way to go with them. So finding or creating certificates and then signing your app may take the whole day if you unlock it. Then you upload your app to testing, some testing service or maybe to store, and then you have to submit that everything you uploaded is fine and you are ready to go. So what do you think? How much time this gonna take? Sometimes it takes maybe an hour. Sometimes it might take maybe a day or two. That's really time consuming and better to automate this process. Some guy, his name is Felix Kraus, he developed a toolchain called Fastlane. Its purpose is to automate this process of releasing your app, to make it quick and to release your hands from directly doing it. So how does it look? This is an automation toolkit for iOS and Android. It consists of maybe 10 different tools, and they might be chained together to gain some kind of better result. So let's look into these tools one by one. The first tool is Scan. This is a tool to test your program. It supports all types of tests, unit tests, UI tests. So let's try. Now I wanted to show you how to test your application with Scan. And now I have a basic application we used a while back. So let's see. Okay. All I have to do is type a simple command, and I'm sorry, and the process is starting without any other problems. It may take some time, but still it works, and you don't have to do anything to make it happen.
And can we increase the font size for our
Even more?
watchers?
Okay. restart the terminal. Come on. Okay. So the scan is going to build your app and then perform all the tests it has in the project. Right. This might be a little slow, but nothing to do with it. So I suggest, okay, we move on to the next tool. And the next tool is Snapshot. Snapshot is a tool to automate the creation of screenshots for every phone, for every iPad, and for every language. So you just type a simple command and you can go maybe drink it, have a tea or coffee, because your computer will create all screenshots automatically. You don't have to do any other thing. Okay, here we have an iPhone 5S simulator, which is starting to complete all the tests. Yes, and this is a little slower than I thought it would be. Okay, I'm going to stop this process. Much more interesting to see how it creates screenshots for you. Now it's going to again build the application, start all needed simulators, and then create all these screenshots. You might wonder, how does it work? There is nothing really very hard. This works only because of UI tests. This snapshot tool comes with a simple class which helps UI tests to create screenshots when you need them. And to make it happen, you really just have to write a simple code. So here, this is simple code which basically just taps some buttons and then creates screenshots with yeah, I didn't think about it. Okay. This iMac has an HDD inside, so it's really slow. So Oops. Enough? Okay. So let's look at this simple test. It creates application and just started application. It takes a screenshot with a simple map. Then it taps on a button company and takes screenshot of what the application looks like next. Then it taps back and shows us a simple screen with some information about this application. So we got 3 screenshots, and somehow it doesn't work. Yep, I thought it would be a little faster. Okay, let's try. Maybe it'll help. At least I hope it helps. Come on. Oh. Okay. Yep. Okay, I let it do this, and well, this tool has a its Android version, and it's called Screengrab, and it does basically the same thing. Based on UI tests, it creates screenshots for your app. Okay. Oh, now we're talking. The first thing it does, it patches a simulator list file to scale it to 100%, because if you don't do that, your screenshots will be scaled and will look okay bad. Now it builds the application, and then it's gonna build the test. Okay, while this process is in progress, let's get to next tool. What? What the? Yep, we do. Okay. The next tool is called Match, and I think all of you who develops iOS applications, you might have seen such a screen, and it basically tells you that there is no needed certificates or profile, and you might try to let Xcode fix this issue, but sometimes it doesn't really work. Match it consists of 3 other tools. I don't want to tell them about you. If you really want to learn about them, you better look at the docs. So it helps you manage all the profiles, because if you do it yourself, you might end up like Joker from Batman. You might become mad. So it creates a Git repository, and it stores all the certificates and profiles in it. You can encrypt them with your passphrase, so they will never be stolen, and it really helps you to don't mess with all this stuff. It helps you to make this all a little easier. Also, it has an option to destroy all your current certificates or profiles, because you might have some Xcode managed profiles or revolt certificates or any other thing, and it destroys everything, so you can start over. So okay, how's our screenshot here? It seems we haven't got any better. Okay, the simulator is started, so now I think it's gonna take screenshots. Oh, yep, this is the process. Oh no.
Your face on top.
Oops, okay. Thank you. So okay, it has built all the stuff it needs, and now this is the process of, well, taking screenshots. It started the app, it tapped all the buttons, and now we get this lovely report with all taken screenshots. You can watch what did it create, and if you're okay, so you can proceed to the next step. Okay, now I want to show you how does match works. Okay, suppose we need a development profile. Okay, it asks me about where I store all these certificates and profiles. They are stored in our private Git repository. So I don't think that anyone not from a company can ever get to it. So it's perfectly safe. And now it's gonna clone this repository, get all the needed stuff, and install it into this Mac. Yep. Oh, it's done. Okay, let's move on. The next tool is a gem. Gem is used to carry out one specific task. It builds your application. It creates archives with all needed settings, and instead of typing all this stuff you see now, you just type Fastlane gem, and it creates what you need. It's really simple, nothing to worry about. It has very same defaults, so even if you don't specify some settings, it's going to build you an application without any problem. Okay, it's going to build now, so let's move on to the next. The next tool is Deliver. Deliver is used to upload all this stuff or your application, maybe some metadata, screenshots to the App Store. Well, it takes all the stuff that was created on the previous steps. It takes screenshots created by Snapshot. It takes a build of your application created by Jim, and then it uploads it to the iTunes. It doesn't use any website scraping. It uses REST API endpoints, which they are already used by Xcode, and it works really fast because of this. Okay, now we see how Jim creates our archive, and it's worth noting that it will be available in Xcode Organizer. Come on, you're nearly finished. Right. Okay, let's do this. And well, the same tool. There is the same tool for Android, and it's called Supply. It does pretty much the same thing. It uploads everything to Google Play, including screenshots, metadata, and APK. Okay, now it has finished. There is an IPA file we have created by Jim, and if you want, you might upload it yourself using application loader or Xcode or whatever. So let's move on to the next. The next tool is a Pilot. Pilot is used to upload your builds and manage testers or versions for TestFlight. I haven't really used it, so okay, well, there is such a tool. You might be using it. We are not. We're using another testing service, and I will tell you about it later. Okay, the next very useful tool is a Gradle. It wasn't. It's not a tool from original Fastlane package, but it anyway it's very useful because it handles every task that Gradle can handle itself for Android. It can build your app, it can clean your project, whatever. It can easily create your release version of your application and sign it with signing configs. So it's very useful for Android developers. Okay. For testing purposes, we are using a Crashlytics service from Fabric, and there is a tool to upload your builds to Crashlytics. It just needs a API token, build secret, and a group to which you want make your application available for the testers. All this stuff is based on a tool called Spatial, and the Spatial is a tool to interact with iTunes Connect and Apple developer endpoints. Let's watch how it's done. Oh, it seems I don't have dependency installed, so now it's going to install the needed gem, and let me start the spaceship. Okay. Now the spaceship is trying to log into iTunes Connect and developer portal, and there is a playground to try and play with this spaceship. Let's try this simple command. Spaceship tunes apps. Yep. What? No. Somehow it doesn't work. Well, it seems I forgot the right command. No. Well, if I remember right command, it should have list all the applications we have in our account, but it seems I can get it to work. Maybe. Oh, yep. Well, here it is. We have an application called Dark News. We have an application called Beacons, and we have two more applications called Aspirity, called Tatashev and Stalbury. It can do whatever you want. It can show you a list of your certificates, of your profiles, of your testers, users, groups, whatever you can achieve in iTunes Connect or Apple Developer, it can do. And pretty much all of actions, all of tools from Fastlane are based on Spaceship. Okay. I suppose you might say that typing each command by hand is not the way to do, because it anyway it takes your time. So there is a configuration files when you can define the whole lane, and all of commands will be executed consequently, and output of every command will become an input of the next ones. So here we have lane release. It installs all the needed pods if you maybe didn't install them. Then it tests the application, then it creates snapshots, signs, handles all this stuff with certificates and profiles, builds and stuff, and signs the application, and then it uploads it to App Store. So to do all this, you just have to type, and the process will be started. I don't want to really try it and execute this because it is gonna take a long time, but this is supposedly the way to go with Fastlane. Okay, let me show you how all this configuration configuration files look like. Okay, so here we have an app file which basically contains this application's identifier and your account name. We have a fast file where this lane is defined. We have a deliver file with all the needed information to upload the application, and snap file with well, it has settings to properly create all needed screenshots. Let's open maybe a fast file. Fonts again. No. Oh. Okay. Let's watch release lane. Here I have commented copods because I don't want them to be updated on every release. Then it has a match with which can handle all stuff with certificates and profiles, and of course we need a profile for uploading to App Store. Then it creates snapshots, then it creates a build with a bitcode option set to true, and then it uploads it to App Store. Nothing really hard, but anyway, it's gonna save you plenty of time. If we look at the beta lane, here we register devices or handle stuff with match with certificates and profiles, build application and upload it to Crashlytics. So that's it. You just have to type in your terminal Fastlane and the name of the lane you want to execute. Okay. The same is with Android, but instead of executing all this stuff with match and gem, you just have to run Gradle tasks in the needed order and then upload your application to whatever service you want it to be uploaded. As I said already, some of the tools they have output and some of other tools have input. So Fastlane makes them interact with each other. So deliver, for example, might have access to screenshots and build of your application to upload it to App Store. It's really useful, and I think that's what makes Fastlane so convenient. So you don't need to manually upload things or set folders or something. You just type your command and it's gonna be executed. Alright, Fastlane comes with a pack of pre-built actions. 10 of them are pre-built initially by the developers of Fastlane, and the other, I think its number is about 200 actions. They are created by other external developers. But after some time, developers of Fastlane decided that managing all these actions is really hard and it takes much time for them. So they developed a system of plugins, and you can create your own plugin and use it, and you don't necessarily need to upload it to in Fastlane repository. You can create your own repository and well, just tell your friends to use your plugin. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to create a folder. And now we create a new plugin called Aspirity test plugin. Yep, I'm okay with that. The author is Aspirity, obviously. Email address. This is the test plugin, so we can ignore all this stuff. And now we have a plugin here. Let's see how does it look like. Okay, here we have some configuration files, and they are really don't interesting. Let's see how does it look under the hood. Okay, plugin. Oh, come on. Okay, now we have two folders, actions and helper, and each of them contains Ruby files to basically make your plugin work. Okay, there is the one file. Let's open it. Okay. So this is a subclass of action written in Ruby, and it implements some of needed methods. Well, the method run, well, it's just what your plugin actually does. There is a description, authors, maybe a return value, description of return value, and other stuff, including settings you might want to your application or your plugin to have, and platforms which are supported. So with Fastlane, you don't need to constantly use all the actions pre-built. You can create your own plugin and use them in your project, or maybe share with someone, and it really helps Fastlane to be open and constantly expanding. What I wanted to tell also is that since Fastlane is command line tools, they might be easily they easily work with Jenkins or any other CI CI services. With Fastlane, it's really easy to set up Jenkins to catch your master commits to your repository and build, process, execute the lane which will upload a new release of your application to App Store or Google Play, and maybe catch commits on QA branch, and they will be uploaded to testing services you might be using. I haven't tried this myself, so I think if you think this is what you want, so you might look at the documents. Well, I think this is all I have for you today. If you're interested, if you want to learn something more, just follow this link and help yourself to learn more. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Please like this video if you actually like it. Goodbye.